Calls on this. Do train drivers deserve to be paid £76,000 a year? 0207 862 2222. Tell us what you think. So have a look at our easel here and you'll see that train drivers are now in the official top 10 best paid workers in Britain. So, because if you look at averages, we're not talking about necessarily the sort of FTSE chief executives who are in the millions, but chief executive is on about 100 grand. And you then go marketing director, specialist doctors, IT directors, logistic directors, pilots, financial managers. And in that you go from 94 to about 76. And the financial managers 76 compares, well, equally with train drivers. There they are with the trains. Let's just put a little train in there. That is a train, right? I won't hear anything. That is a train. That is a train. That is a train. Train drivers. PR directors, head teachers. So you think, what is this crazy? Have we gone mad here? Or is it actually totally deserved? Because if somebody steers a train in the wrong direction or something, there's hell to pay. Let me show you some others which are below train drivers. So senior, bear with me here, because I've got to do joined up writing. Senior police are paid 66,690. And then I'm going to give you also, I'm just using spectacles for this. Those are the spectacles of a clinical psychologist, and they're on 58,366. So they're less than a train driver. That's interesting. And then also lawyers. Bear in mind with lawyers, you're going across the piece. So you've got people who might be just qualified and so on, but they tend to be paid. They work hard, lawyers, I must say. 56,977. So lawyers, police, psychologists, less than train drivers. I'm quite surprised, but then you might remember Labour gave train drivers a 15% pay rise last year. One of the very first things they did after entering office, because there had been a very long strike. And to be honest, if you're Labour, you say, well, hang on a minute. By putting train drivers up there, we have essentially stopped them striking and started the trains moving again. And from that point of view, they're more valuable than IT directors because no one notices if they don't turn up to work. So what do you think, Radzi?
I'm actually all for their salary because I got on a train down from the West Midlands here this morning. There was a train driver driving that train. It arrived to pick me up at 6:04 in the morning. I don't know where it started. For a train driver, you could start early, you could finish extremely late, unsociable hours. It's 2 years to become a train driver. It's no mean feat. The train, my issue with the trains themselves are the train lines and the privatisation of the railways, which for me is a total fallacy. But I think if you want to be in the top, that puts roughly train drivers, I've written it down, just under the top 5% in the UK based on that. But really, that's skewed because of the amount of people that earn big money. And so...
Who are off the top of the chart, yeah. So what do you think, Annabel, of train drivers being paid so well?
I think that they probably are overpaid. It's very difficult to know what they should be paid because obviously this is public sector or quasi-public sector, so you don't have an efficient labour market within the sector through which you could establish what the right level of pay is.
Or highly skilled people, if they make a mistake, people die. That's always the way. That's got to be the test, hasn't it? If you make a mistake in your job, how many people die? And you base the salary on that.
Well, except for the fact that there's a suggestion that they're paid more than surgeons on an hourly basis.
Yeah, but they only kill one person.
People's lives
right?
in their hands.
A train driver mistake will kill 200.
I think there are lots of jobs. You could say that a lorry driver holds other people's lives in their hands. I mean, a lot of jobs, actually, if you really think about it, are responsible for the lives of others. Look, I think it doesn't require a huge amount of training. It doesn't require a university degree. It's paid more highly than other jobs that most people in our society would feel ought to be paid more. Then you've got the actual rail sector itself, the fact that it can't stand on its own 2 feet. It has to be subsidised by the government. We spent £12 billion propping it up during the COVID pandemic. Passenger volumes have been down since then, specifically commuter rail journeys, and they may never recover because so many people are working from home. And ultimately what you have is a situation where pay is on this sort of ratchet where it's just going up and up and up and up, and the unions, ASLEF, etc., RMT, are holding the country to ransom with the drivers going on strike. They're demanding higher pay. They just got ASLEF 15% over 3 years for their drivers, but they're still coming back for more.
Yeah, I mean,
and what they're also doing, though, is refusing any improvements that would mean that there are productivity gains.
Understood. Now, Craig in Manchester, you are a train driver, I understand.
Yeah, I am.
What do you make of what Annabel's just said, that if you're not allowing improvements to happen, but you are taking rises?
Well, I can't comment on the improvements and Network Rail and what happens to the track, but I can't actually understand what the obsession is with train drivers that this topic keeps coming up.
Well, it's the fact they keep going on strike.
There's lots of plumbers and there's lots of electricians, certainly in the southeast, earning 70, 80, 90,000 pounds. We don't talk about we occasionally, but it doesn't get as much traction as train drivers.
I think it's, Annabel says it's because they keep going on strike. Yeah.
They're 300, 400,000 pounds a week. And then, but we're talking about somebody that could have 600 people on board doing 125 miles an hour.
Well, that's
and there's only one of them, unlike two pilots where they cross-check with each other.
Yep. No, I mean, is there any argument, do you think, for automating it so you just have no humans in there at all?
Well, possibly. It will be automated, Jeremy, in I reckon at least 20 or 30 years from now. But it's terribly frustrating. You know, I've just looked at your £300,000 plus pound wage for a couple of hours on the radio each day, Jeremy, and then you're saying, you're getting paid a lot of money. Please don't cut me off. You're getting paid a lot of money. Oh, that's a lot of money. Well, we're all paying for your wages, Jeremy, for a couple of hours, and then you're questioning what we're doing. If you make a mistake,
you've just exaggerated the numbers, but you've got the number wrong. But no, it's a completely fair comment. I mean, my Radio 2 wages are published, and that's why. So you can make that comment.
And if you make a mistake, Jeremy, you say the wrong word. If I make a mistake, I can kill 600 people.
Well, I've made that same argument, Craig. That if you make a mistake, you kill 600 people, and there is an argument to say that's on that basis you should be paid more than, say, David Hockney, who doesn't have anyone's life in his hands, and we're valuing people wrong. And you could tell me you should be paid more than a footballer, Craig. How about that?
If anybody wants to go and do it, it's terribly difficult to get on. And like Radzi said, it's 2 years training with constant assessments, constant exams, and constant monitoring from managers. And lots of pressure while you're doing the job.
And why do you keep going on strike?
Well, we don't keep going on strike. We follow really what the union says. And we probably feel like we need to go on strike because we feel like the responsibilities of the job and how hard the job is.
Okay.
That we're rewarded with it more. We need more reward for the pressures of the job that we're in.
Okay, thank you. Craig in Manchester. Shona in Stirling, hi.
Hello.
What do you make of that? It's a defence of it.
Oh, come on. I mean, I work as a carer and I can't go on strike. I don't get a fraction of what the train drivers, they got a big increase after general election. And I think, come on. I mean, I was saying that you look at footballers who, a certain Liverpool player who gets, hundreds of thousands a week. I would take 25 years to get that.
I know.
So come on.
At least that's a free market, though. The football, the clubs have to pay, and if they buy the wrong players, they go bankrupt and their shareholders lose all their money. So that's the kind of market we kind of understand. This is more, public sector, really, even though it's private. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's public-private.
Yeah, as Annabel said, quasi-autonomous, non-public operated organisation. But just to say, I mean, Shona, first of all, thank you for what you do, because without people like you, there'd be a lot of people that are struggling.
For sure.
Sorry.
No, I said for sure.
Oh, thank you.
I'm grateful, but I just for that comment, but I just need to go to another call. Shona, thank you, bless you. Michael in South Yorkshire, hi.
Yeah, good morning, Jeremy.
What do you think? Is it right to pay the train drivers the sort of amount that puts them on that list?
No, but they hold us to ransom, don't they? They have the power to disrupt. They have the power to stop people working, basically. I remember years ago as a young merchant seaman, I got £8 a month. Then I became an assistant student and got £32 a month. Then I joined the army and I jumped out of aeroplanes as a paratrooper to give me an additional £2.96 a week for parapay.
Well, thank you, Michael.
I've never had big wages, and I feel sorry for care workers. I feel sorry for many in the NHS that do a damn good job, that don't get the rewards that they deserve.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. After the break, it's the papers and everything else, including dazzling car headlights. Are they too bright nowadays?